Good morning, sunshines. Deep breath together. That's how we're starting it off today. You guys, have you done yoga lately? Have you taken many of those lately? That's today's practice that we're going through is the magic of breathing, the miracle of breathing, which really ties us into the miracle of all science. On one level, we're like, science is, that's pretty amazing, or it's a class that I took in school. But when you actually think about all of the scientific things that occur in your world for you to live in this world, it's unbelievable. So, specifically, today, practice number 23 is the miracle of breathing, the magical air that you breathe, and what that looks like, and connecting to that feeling of acknowledgement for this daily miracle that you experience around 17,000 to 20,000 times every single day. And most of us, again, take it for granted, until you're stuck underneath water because a wave hits you and tumbles you around and you're gasping for air. Or people who have had asthma and they know what it's like not to be able to pull and draw air in. Those 17 to 20,000 breaths just seem like we just take them for granted. And one of the things I love about the shift of this practice, here, practice number 23, is that we start to look at not just your gratitude for things that are around you and for things that you want to create in your world, like using them as a tool for a law of attraction to create more stuff in your life, more money in your life, better relationships in your life. All of those things are incredible. But when you can really ground yourself in the level of gratitude for the things that are already there, that magically, magnificently present themselves on a day-to-day basis, and feel the joy that that brings, you have instant access to unlimited and abundant happiness and joy that's around you. There are so many miracles that are happening within your body, your system, your breath, your surroundings right this moment. And when you start to see those, you start to forget about all of those other things that you're worrying about or complaining about or being upset about or angry about, because there's not any time. There's too many wonderful things to see. There's too many miracles happening. One of the best quotes that I really liked from this chapter is, when we can truly feel grateful for the precious gifts of life and nature, like the magical air that we breathe, we have reached one of the deepest possible levels of gratitude. And whoever has that depth of gratitude will receive absolute abundance. And using breath as an expression of that is so perfect, because we have to have it to live and we do it so often. But when's the last time you've sat back and thought about all of the different things that have to occur for you to pull in that oxygen into your blood, get your oxygenated blood going through your entire system so that you can be here? I pulled up a couple fun facts, because why not? Why not just learn a little bit about breath so we realize and just connect even more what a miracle it is? Breathing air is actually not a good description of what happens. Here's an article that I found. Breathing air is actually not a good description of what happens when we breathe. Air is made up of 79% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and then small amounts of helium, carbon dioxide, hydrogen. So inhaled air, when we pull air in, that air is made up of 16% oxygen, 4% carbon dioxide, and the same 79% of nitrogen that we were talking about before. So our lungs swap out just 4 to 5% of that oxygen, switch it out for carbon dioxide, and we eliminate over 70% of the body's waste through our breath. The lungs are the biggest waste removal engine in the body, because we have to take in that air and get out all of that other crap and just find that little bitty miraculous piece, right? The 4 to 5% oxygen for our bodies to be able to operate. And that's only like touching the very basis of what this process is. Let's not even get into our lungs and our alveoli and what has to happen on the outside world for the carbon dioxide to turn back into oxygen for us to be able to breathe in. There's this incredible incredible system that has to occur. Some other fun facts about breathing. You exhale almost 4.2, or I'm sorry, 0.42 liters of water every single day just in breathing. Isn't that interesting? The water that you're breathing out. This is just fun. Most people can hold their breath for a maximum of 1 to 2 minutes. I don't know about that, not me. But there was somebody in 2010, Stig Severson from Degmar. He held it for 22 minutes in a dive through the art of controlled breathing. Psychologists have found that breathing practices are effective in fighting anxiety, depression, stress. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes here. And obviously, your emotions change your breathing, whatever you're experiencing. So there's so much to be grateful for about breath. Obviously, your life that you have, the miracle of the system, how extraordinary it is that you get to do that. The fact that you pull in 17 to 20,000 breaths and each day you just wake up and expect to do it again, but it's just there. You just have it. And instead of spending time focusing on what's beautiful and what we have, we're spending time worrying about the stuff that we don't have or that we don't like. I wanted to go through just the practice of breathing a little bit and give you guys some ideas of what supports your emotional system, your body, using proper breathing, because a lot of people, since we do take it for granted so much, a lot of people don't really think about how they breathe. I think for some of us that have gone into a yoga practice, that's where we really start to gain that back, or a kundalini practice where we realize how much energy can move with our breath. But it's not really a normal conversation if you're not into those different things. I am such a proud mama that one of the first things my kids do, both my little ones, my bigs probably do too, but it's just like really relevant right now because they're 3 and 5, is whenever like they can tell I'm worked up or they're worked up, they will stop, especially my 3-year-old, and go, take a deep breath, mom. Everything's going to be all right. And it's the cutest, most precious thing. So they're actually already learning to use breath as an emotional regulation tool that they have access to at any time, no matter what's going on in our world. So let's look at a couple different ways that you can improve your breath work or acknowledge your breath work. And then I'll share with you what the practice is for today. And then I hope you move through your day in just an incredible amount of gratitude of breath. So the first thing is that when you're thinking about your breath work and how you pull in air, sitting up straight is something that can be very supportive. So if you want to practice breathing with me for a second here, sit up or stand up straight and feel yourself like lift from your hips up to your ribs. So like really extending your abdomen, shoulders back, and just feel that position, that posture. And it helps to facilitate your respiratory muscles, your diaphragm between the ribs. So it enables you to move more air through. The second thing is just observe your breath. Just for a second, just be aware of how your breath naturally moves in and out. Focus on the sensations of like your air passing through your nose. I breathe in through my nose and usually out through your mouth, but feel what that feels like. Feel it in your throat, feel it in your belly, and just which way you breathe. Just kind of acknowledge that. Then you're going to try abdominal breathing. So abdominal breathing is where you want to breathe through your stomach as much as possible by inflating your belly with air and then swelling your chest. So it feels funny when you haven't done this before, but if you pull air in, okay, so we're going to pull it in through our nose. And as you do, I want you to like put your hand on your tummy and feel your tummy, force it to expand out. First your stomach and then puff your chest out afterwards. Feel your lungs and your heart coming out. Sometimes this is easier done if you lay down like on your back so you can really feel your stomach, but we're going to do one together. Okay. So in through the nose. And then actually I'm going to combine two different things. So before you you guys keep breathing when I'm talking about this, but I want to talk about one more thing. Having like a rhythmic breathing, and which is what we're doing right now. We're going to go in through the nose. We're going to fill up our stomach, fill up our lungs. Then at the top of your breath, before breathing out, hold that oxygen in, and we're going to count to 1, 2, 3. I'm going to kind of try to count while I'm doing the same time, right? And then slowly exhale, releasing everything from your tummy. Okay, so we're going to do this together. We're just going to take one great breath. All right. So we're going to breathe in through your nose, fill up your belly, puff out your chest, hold it up top. One, two, three, and slowly. My question for you is, in that one breath, when you were breathing the air out, could you feel the sensations within your body changing? Because I absolutely could. And I don't know what it's like for you, depends on maybe it happens right away, maybe it's with more practice, I'm not sure, but I can automatically feel this, like, emotional release and lightness from doing that rhythmic stomach breathing. Another technique that people will do is, like, alternate nostrils, so, like, breathe through your left and then breathe through your right just to move things differently through your system. As you're breathing, you do want to focus on reassuring thoughts, especially if you're going to, incorporate a breathing practice. Maybe it's a minute of intentionally grateful breathing a day, and as you're doing that, thinking of whatever reassures you, whatever supports you. For me, a lot of times as I breathe in, I say or visualize breathing in light and love, and then as I breathe out light and love. So I don't say breathe, I'm just like light and love. And I visualize that coming in as I'm breathing out light and love and really seeing, the love pouring into me and then me being able to shine that light and pour into others. You can do whatever makes you feel good for really releasing and finding that emotional stability. And when you go through and you start to see that your breath is such a huge component of controlling and regulating your emotional functions, that practice right there, being able to find that inner peace and calm can support you in so many different ways during your life, especially when you are in times of upset, and that could just be something simple like the kids are just really on you, they're getting to you today, you keep telling them to do something and they're not doing that, and you just pause, just like my son says, and take your deep breath. That way you can just center yourself again and acknowledge, like, here, I'm worried about my child pulling out all the Legos when I just put them away. And I get to breathe 20,000 breaths, and all these different things have to occur for me to do that. Maybe I can just calm down and focus on that. We'll pick up the Legos later. It helps you find this calm in your regular life. In addition, when you start to approach or a huge storm hits your life, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to cope with this situation? Taking those deep breaths and centering yourself is very supportive. When I was the biggest moment that I can think about this occurring for me is when we came back from my son's scans, my baby scans, and we walked back up into our hospital room. And as we wheeled in, we wheeled him in, and actually, I think I was holding him. They were letting me walk. That was almost a mistake. And opened the door to find the oncologist, the neurologist, the endocrinologist, our general, practitioner, and all of these doctors in our room greeting us. I mean, we had just done the scans. How do they even have time to read them? And the oncologist introduced herself. I, had to hand my son off to my husband, and I was just like, I just need to sit for a second. And I sat and I took a few deep breaths because otherwise I was about to pass out. And I knew that I could do that practice because I had been practicing it for through the minor stresses in life, the Lego moments, the yelling kid moments, the I spilt the milk moments. Practicing breath through that prepares you for larger situations, more challenging situations that may show up in your world. So having this as a regular tool that you utilize is supportive in so many different ways. In just the practice that we just talked about in emotionally regulating yourself. In fact, you have some people, they do an anxiety practice where they go through and they do the deep breath at a rapid pace. My, oh my. My internet just went out, so I don't exactly know what's happening right now. Okay, let's see. Where should I pick back up? If you can utilize this practice during the minor challenges in your life, you'll see how supportive it is when major things possibly show up. So now we were able to acknowledge the emotional regulation and support of taking in each breath, in addition to the miracle that our breath is on any level, even shallow breathing, which is not as supportive, right? All of that, it's a miracle. And so many things have to occur for us to be able to pull in each one of those breaths. Seeing that and then taking that into the rest of your life, acknowledging that there are beautiful, miraculous, scientific, extraordinary things that are happening all of the time. And instead of focusing on those, you're focusing on the if, ands, or buts of the things that you just don't like in this moment, and learning to let go of those and focus on what is supporting you, which could be something as simple as a deep belly breath. Today's practice for the magic is going to be doing 5 intentional breaths, acknowledging the breath coming in and out. And if you can do that deep breath, the deep breath work that we just did, that would be wonderful. So you're going to do 5 breaths 5 times throughout the day. And if you find this supportive, when you find this supportive, I hope that it's something you continue to carry on through your day to day. And the next time you step on a Lego, you're like, oh, I remember Callie said I should stop and breathe right now. I'm going to, stop yelling profanities and I'm going to breathe. Or when the milk spills and you're like, you want to lose it. And you're like, oh, nope, let's focus on the miracle of breath right now. It's going to be okay. And see how that carries you through a different way of being. I really love this practice, the 23rd practice, our magical air that we breathe, because it does connect us in a different way. And I hope you guys find that it does the same. We are moving in to our last handful of practices here for the magic by Rhonda Byrne, where we are reiterating each one of these. And I just want to end today by taking a deep breath together. Breathe in, hold the breath in, and breathe out slowly. And tell you guys, don't forget that perspective reveals miracles. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.